So in the NFL world, football analysts everywhere have their top four quarterbacks, and 99.9% of the time, that top four consists of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Everyone always has them in their top four in various orders, and then their 5 through 10 can be scattered across the rest of the league. And very rarely do they include Jalen Hurts. Some people have him 5th, some people have him 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. There are even some people who have him outside the top 10. But they always have him a tier below that top four. They believe there's 4 elite quarterbacks and then the rest of the league. Today, I'm going to do my best to convince you why Jalen Hurts should be in that elite company and it should be a top 5 rather than a top 4. I did all the homework for you. All you got to do is sit back, watch the video, and listen to me talk. Most of my stats I got from ESPN and Pro Football Focus. However, I did use other various websites and apps to get the stats. Whatever was consistent through each website are the stats that I used. So let's get into it. As you can see, I'm going from 2022 regular season through the 2024 regular season. That gives every quarterback that I'm comparing today a full season before we start comparing. They have a full season under their belt. They've been a starting quarterback before, and now they should all be good enough to play in the NFL. We're starting off with Patrick Mahomes. As you can see, his passing stats, his running stats, and then added together his total yards, touchdowns, and turnovers. I do want to note, I could not find consistent numbers on pocket passing fumbles. So all fumbles for every player is from running or scrambling. So there's no pocket fumbles counted in this comparison for any of the players. As you can see, Patrick Mahomes, over the course of these 3 regular seasons, he amassed 14,415 total yards, 100 total touchdowns, and 37 total turnovers. Now let's move on to the next quarterback. Now we're on to Lamar Jackson, and over the past 3 seasons, he amassed 12,600 total yards, 94 touchdowns, and only 25 turnovers. He's a pretty good regular season quarterback. And as you can see above, Josh Allen amassed 14,000 yards. He's got 26 more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes and only 6 more turnovers. He might be the best overall dual threat quarterback in the league, if not the best quarterback. I mean, he's the reigning MVP for a reason. And Joe Burrow did miss a few games in the 2023 season, if I'm not mistaken. But his numbers are still great. He still got up to 12,000 total yards, 100 total touchdowns, and only 27 turnovers. Pretty great. And if we look at Jalen Hurts, he's not in last place in any of those categories. He has more yards total than Joe Burrow. Jalen Hurts also missed some games. He has the most rushing touchdowns. Yes, those are tush-push, but I would argue the tush-push takes at least a little bit of skill and a little bit of strength. Josh Allen's taller and heavier, and he doesn't do it nearly as successful. Lamar Jackson needs a tight end to do it. He can't do it himself. And Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow don't even try. So, in the day of dual threat quarterbacks, doesn't matter how long the rushing yard touchdown is, running backs get 1-yard touchdowns all the time. So why can't the quarterback? Also notice he has more total touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes and less total turnovers. You could argue it's because he throws it less. Well, Patrick Mahomes runs it less. That's why he doesn't have any running fumbles. And if we look at Joe Burrow's advanced stats, you'll see he has 7 yards per attempt, 68% completion percentage, a 62.6 QBR, and a total quarterback rating of 100.1. I don't think wins are a quarterback stat, but most people do. So we're going to count them here. And as you can see, Joe Burrow's 26 and 17. And if we look at Jalen Hurts' advanced stats, we'll see that he has a higher yards per attempt at 7.7, slightly lower at 66.8% completion percentage, a higher QBR at 64.9, and just below him in quarterback rating at 98.1, but a better record at 37-9. Moving on to Patrick Mahomes, he's at a 7.3 yards per attempt, 67.2% completion percentage, a QBR of 70.1, and an even lower rating of 97.1, with a 39-10 record. So that puts Jalen Hurts above him in total QB rating. Moving on to Josh Allen, he has a 7.5 yards per attempt. He's at the lowest completion percentage with a 64.4, but he has the highest QBR at a 73.6 and the lowest rating so far at a 96.7 with a 37-13 record. And now on to Lamar Jackson, who has the highest yards per attempt with a 7.9, the second lowest completion percentage with a 65.4. He has a QBR of 67.9 and the highest quarterback rating of a 104.4 with a 33-12 record. Now let's look at their records when they have to throw 30 plus times per game, since people want to argue Jalen Hurts isn't a true quarterback and he only wins when they run the ball. Joe Burrow went 11-4 in 2022, 5-4 in 2023, 7-7 in 2024, for a total record of 23-15 with a 61% win percentage. On to Josh Allen, who went 9-3 in 2022, 8-5 in 23, and 7-2 in 2024, for a total record of 24-10 with a 71% win percentage. Now for Patrick Mahomes, he went 12-1 in 2022, 9-6 in 2023, and 11-1 in 2024, for a total record of 32-8 with a win percentage of 80%. And I saved the two running backs who run the most for last. Jalen Hurts went 8-0 in 2022, 8-2 in 2023 when they had the 30th ranked defense, 3-2 in 2024 for a total record of 19-4 and the highest win percentage of all five quarterbacks with an 83%. Now let's go look at Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson went 4-2 in 2022, 5-2 in 2023, and then 3-5 in 2024 for a 12-9 record and only a 57% win percentage. So I think the argument that Jalen Hurts doesn't win with his arm is now null and void. If we rank these quarterbacks based on their win percentage when throwing, first place would go to Jalen Hurts, then it's Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and last place would be Lamar Jackson. Moving on to total playoff career, Patrick Mahomes has 6,400 total yards, 53 touchdowns, 11 turnovers, with a 7.7 yards per attempt, 67.7% completion percentage, a 78.2 QBR, and a 105.4 rating with a 17-4 record. And Jalen Hurts has 2,000 total yards, 20 touchdowns, only 4 turnovers, a 7.1 yards per attempt, 66.8% completion, QBR is 52.1, which is kind of low, and a quarterback rating of 95.4 with a 6-3 record. Now on to Joe Burrow, who has 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 turnovers with a 7.3 yards per attempt, 67.3% completion, a QBR of 52.4, which is only 0.3 above Jalen Hurts, and a rating below Hurts at 93.8 with a 5-2 record. On to Josh Allen, who has 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and only 4 turnovers with a 7.3 yards per attempt, a 65.7% completion, a QBR of 66.2, and a rating of 101.7, but only a record of 7-6. I think it's fair to say he's not the reason they're losing. And now finally to Lamar Jackson, who has 2,400 yards, only 13 touchdowns to 7 turnovers, with a 7.3 yards per attempt, the lowest completion percentage at 60.6, a QBR of 53.1, and by far the lowest rating of an 84.6, and the only quarterback on this list with a losing record. So when it's playoff time, showtime, time to step up for your guys, Lamar Jackson obviously takes a step back, and it's a big one. And now we're moving on to the Super Bowl stats. I'm including Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes together, since Jalen Hurts' both Super Bowl appearances have been against Patrick Mahomes. If we compare total yards, Patrick Mahomes has played 3 more games, has 900 more yards, only 3 more touchdowns, 6 more turnovers, a far lower yards per attempt, far lower completion percentage, far lower QBR, far lower quarterback rating. And obviously they're 1-1 against each other. It's also fair to note that the Eagles were up 34-0 before Patrick Mahomes threw for 3 touchdowns. So if you take away garbage time touchdowns, Patrick Mahomes has 7 touchdowns to 8 turnovers, and he has about 200 less passing yards. On to Joe Burrow's Super Bowl appearance. He has more yards per attempt than Mahomes, a lower completion percentage by 0.2, a lower QBR, and a higher rating, and he lost his only appearance. It's also worth noting Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have never made it to the bowl. So if we compare these quarterbacks based on their Super Bowl performances, Jalen Hurts is the best, Patrick Mahomes is second, Joe Burrow is third just because he's never won, and tied for last would be Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Moving on to a new segment, this is the top 10 quarterbacks ranked by NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. They have Jalen Hurts all the way down at 9th. People ahead of him that aren't the obvious Elite Four are Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, and Jared Goff. So the next thing we're going to do is look at Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' record versus each of these 9 other top 10 quarterbacks and see where he ranks. As you can see, the Elite Four all have a losing record versus Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. NFL experts act like just because he doesn't throw means he can't throw, and that could be the furthest from the truth. What makes a good quarterback is how well they lead their team, how well they play in the easy moments, how well they play when their back's against the wall, and I don't think anyone is better than Jalen Hurts when their back's up against the wall, except maybe Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen is easily the best when it comes to the easy games, the easy teams. He runs his numbers up, as does Lamar Jackson. But when the playoffs come, Lamar Jackson disappears. When the playoffs come, every other player steps up. Jalen Hurts has a 5-1 record against these other 4 quarterbacks. And the only one who's beat him was Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that it's an Elite 4. I think it's an Elite 5. Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. He's proved it in the regular season. He's proved it in the playoffs. He's proved it in the Super Bowl. He is top 5, and he isn't 5th. Just look at this clutch throw. The Jaguars are coming back, 7 minutes to go, and he delivers a dime to Devontae Smith. How about this clutch throw to go up 34-0 versus the Chiefs? Or how about this dime to A.J. Brown to start the second half, Week 1 against the Packers? How about a throw where he doesn't get to step into it? 41-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. And just to prove that they're not all tush pushes, I'm going to end the video with a couple of Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns for all the haters. Again, Jalen Hurts is top 5, and he isn't 5th.